Welcome back. Our next guest is a lot of fun. You've no doubt seen him on television. You've certainly heard that in recent times he had the very big job of marrying the beautiful Anne Peacock. He's a minister of religion. He says the best way to relate to God is with a giggle. Please welcome the Reverend Harlin Butterley. Can you handle all this fame? 60 Minutes now, this show?
I've been recognised in Safeways and in Kentucky Fried Chicken. I find it hard to put up with, yes.
You're signing autographs yet?
Not yet, no, but it's a strange kind of situation and, it's dying down a bit now, yes.
The sort of attention that you received as the result of marrying Anne and also, of course, doing the big story a couple of weeks ago and plus television like this, what sort of reaction do you get from your parishioners?
Oh, very supportive. I think they get quite excited and they all tell me that they've seen me on TV and with the wedding they're all excited about that because Anne was a parishioner of St Andrews and it's very supportive, as is support from the authorities as well.
Yes, I think that's an interesting thing to clear up because I think some people may have gotten the impression that your superiors didn't like what you were doing and that's not true, is it?
It's not true. No, in the past I think some people have frowned a bit, but the present regime are very happy with me. The Archbishop of Melbourne is quite pleased with me. Great relief. Yes.
Reverend, how do you put humour into your sermons?
Well, I don't deliberately go out to make it funny. There's nothing worse, if somebody shouts out, "Come on, Vicar, tell us a joke" or something.
That hasn't happened, surely.
I just feel that it's so hard to tell if people are listening. I've had somebody go so soundly to sleep in my sermon that they fell off the pew. That's one way of telling that they're not listening. Feedback. So I try. One way is really laughter. Psychologists say another way is coughing. People cough if they're uncomfortable. And they don't like you if you're preaching about sin or something. They all cough. Except in Tasmania where they all have colds. I find laughter is marvellous, that you can tell they're actually listening because they laugh.
And do you think the actual message itself gets through?
Well, sometimes they remember the story and forget what you're saying. I had that happen in Tasmania. I was determined to get my point across and I decided that I would eat roses. I won't tell you why, but in the sermon I was going to eat roses to make my point. And it worked at 8 o'clock service. I ate roses. I got them from somebody's yard. I ate some nasturtiums as well because I knew chooks ate nasturtiums, so it'd be all right. And it went all right. I had to drink some water to get the roses down. It was such a successful sermon. I did it at 9 o'clock as well. And then in the evening. So 3 times in the day I ate roses. And it was a most successful sermon and a real, teaching aid. The next day I didn't feel very well. And it was Heart Foundation Week. And I felt dreadful. They kept on saying, "Is your heart playing up?" And I really had a heart. And so I went to the doctor on Wednesday and he gave me all the tests for heart, those things they stick on you. And at the end he said, "There's nothing wrong with your heart. Have you been doing anything else?" And I said, "Well, actually, I've been eating roses." And they found that I had arsenic poisoning. The woman who gave me the roses hadn't warned me. She'd sprayed them all. And I was kind of poisoned while preaching. And so everybody at St David's Cathedral remember that illustration, but nobody remembers why I made it. Yeah. So they do tend to forget the point and remember the illustration.
When you're at the pulpit, what's the vista like? What's that scene like?
Looking down at all the faces, well, you see them getting their collection out and looking at their hymn books and getting ready. And it can be a bit off-putting. That's why most preachers find it very hard to look at the audience. I went to a preaching school in England and I said to them, I have a problem. I find it very hard to look at my audience when I'm preaching because they put me off, rattling their collections and dropping their hymn books and things. And everybody in this seminar laughed. And I found they all had the same experience. None of them would look at the congregation because the congregation put them off. So they looked so bored. So I find if you can be a bit more light-hearted at times and look at people and they're actually smiling, it's more encouragement because the congregation can encourage you tremendously. If they really look as though they're listening, it makes you preach better.
What about your critics? How do you react to them, those that say that a pastor, a priest or a minister should be very dour?
Oh, well, I don't know. There are many who say that, but people have the common picture of clergy as those who are negative. I remember teaching a lot of girls, and we're talking about mothers, and she referred to her mother as an automatic no machine. Isn't that dreadful? Automatic no machine. And I think a lot of people look upon the clergy as automatic no machines, always saying no, don't do this, kind of Reverend Fred Nile 1,000 times. And awful thought. That's the trouble. And really, most clergy are very positive, and so my congregation are very supportive. But you mentioned critics. Yes, there are, but most people are very supportive. But I do this after dinner speaking, and some people are a bit critical of that.
You make a lot of money out of it, according to that story a couple of weeks ago.
No, I made enough last year to buy a small typewriter. And this year, because of the publicity, I might make a little bit more, but it all goes in tax, and agents' fees. No, one doesn't make a lot of money at all. Your previous guest, who is an eminent person, an after-dinner speaker in the United States, would do much better. In Australia, I enjoy, it's a hobby really, I enjoy speaking after dinner. People say, what do you talk about? And I say, well, rubbish for half an hour, or 40 minutes. I enjoy it. I always try and put a point in the sting in the tail. But,
did you meet Malcolm, by the way, Malcolm Fraser?
He walked past, he's so tall. He
gives me a lovely mind picture.
He didn't notice me, no.
Has Malcolm left, Mr. Fraser left, Jeff? Wondering if he's still here, we could perhaps get him into the studio. Reverend, just finally, with the sort of work that you do, you mentioned before that it's important to have a smile, etc., etc., and you made mention of 1,000 times Fred Nile. Now, of course, Fred's not here to defend himself, but aesthetically, someone like the Reverend Fred Nile, do you think he does more good or harm for the image of the church?
Well, I'm very sorry for him, because he's only rung up when people expect him to say no. It is the same with other leaders of the church. They tend only to ring up when they want the opposite, a negative, expect that response, and they tend to get it. But I'm sure if you could ring up the Reverend Fred Nile about something else, something joyful, you'd see a different side to him. But we only hear him saying, shouldn't be doing this, and sounding the doom of God on everybody. And there's a very positive side to faith which people forget.
And a humorous side, as you say, too.
Oh, very humorous.
Think God's got a sense of humour?
I'm sure the Almighty, he made us, so he must laugh a lot.
Reverend, thank you very much indeed for being on the show today, and great to see you.
Honoured to be asked. Thank you very much.
Reverend Harlin, Butterley, and Malcolm Fraser's gone, has he? Unfortunately. It'll have to be next time.